Welcome to the Metal Prognosis. My name is Lee, and on today's Pedal to the Metal, we're going to be looking at the Daphon, or Daphon, not sure how to pronounce it. But before I open up the box with this, I will have a slight confession. When I saw this little cute picture when I decided to buy this pedal, I was thinking I was going to get something cute like this. And this big bad beast came in, and I opened it up, and it's huge. It is nothing like I thought it was going to be. Not to say that's going to make it better or worse, but just a surprise. A bizarre surprise. So this pedal is the heavy metal E20MT or E20MT. I don't know. I don't know how they're trying to do it, but it's called heavy metal. I've never used this brand before. Actually, another confession, I didn't know this brand existed until I saw this pedal on special and thought, that's worth trying out. So I'll grab it. Yeah, super keen to see how this fits in. It's called heavy metal, so it should be out of heavy metal. If it doesn't, I'm going to be disappointed because then I will be screaming false advertising. But let's not jump to conclusions. Let's put it to the test. Like all my videos of the pedal to the middle, I'll put a camera to this, we'll dial in a tone together, I'll talk through my thoughts as I'm doing it. We'll have a bit of a jam. I'll share the song with everyone, because there's no use playing a song and not sharing it with everyone. That's just crazy talk. And then we'll do my final thoughts afterwards and see if we both agree and conclude and are on the same page, or if we're way off. And then you can comment below on how wrong I am. We'll find out. It's going to be fun either way. So let's try the Daphon heavy metal. Now we have everything set up, like all my pedal to the metal videos. This is what it sounds like before we turn the pedal on. I just wanted to play something different than I do for most of my other videos. There you go, there's something different. But we are not here to watch me play different stuff in clean. We're here for the dirty sounds. So, not dirty as in rude, dirty as in distortion. Let's see what distortion this pedal gives us. So, let's see if I can do it without covering up the whole thing. There we go. Boop. Red light comes on. We shouldn't have any sound, which we don't. So let's start off with, if I turn the volume, here's a volume, the first knob, but I don't go halfway. Should sound pretty boomy because I've got the tone down very low. It does sound very boomy. I'll give myself a bit of volume actually. Yeah, that is extremely boomy. But that's okay, so let's give it some, I don't know, go halfway with the tone. Still very boomy. Did that make a difference? Because that's the distortion one. Let's try again. Tone is in the middle. Suddenly quacking. Quack, 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 quack. So let's not have it so quacky. Now, I did a spoiler before because I touched the distortion, but let's now add the distortion in. Whoa, drop the camera. Let's put the camera back there first before we continue. Crank that distortion. Everything's sounding very muffled, and I don't like it. Let's see if we can clean it up a bit with very little to work with. So let's see if we can get more tone without it being quacky. Still a lot of bottom end. That is just... That's a lot of bottom end. I'm too curious. Let's push the right button. Let's just see how much bottom end's coming through. The answer's heaps. Yeah, that's heat. So let's get into quack territory. Very interesting. So still a lot of bottom end there. So the quack just adds the top end and a bit of middle. Yeah, there's just that little twist with the tone where you just do it a little bit too much and the quack takes over. But that is still just me tapping it. The amount of bottom end that's coming through is, compared to the lack of top end and middle, is just crazy. All right, I'm going to do something a little bit, not really different, but I'm just going to add a different pedal to it because, yeah, this EQing is kind of distracting me. So, I mean, not that you want to rely fully on your eyes on what's happening with the sound, because it absolutely is better to go with your ears, but I think even my ears said there's too much bottom end, and I just confirmed it by opening that up. So, future Lee's not going to like this because he's going to need to do more editing. But let's go into fast forward mode, and I'm going to add an EQ pedal to this and see if I can take out some of that low end coming through. So yeah, bear with me. I'll go into fast forward mode so I can plug it in and reset up this desk camera so you can see it all. So I'll see you in a few seconds once it's all set up and done. Now back into normal speed mode. So I've reset it up. Apologies, I have to fix up little camera angle thing on the side there. just so I can fit them both in now. So, I haven't plugged it in yet. Oh, sorry, I have plugged it in, haven't turned it on yet since I'm plugging it. So that's the sound again coming through. So get you on. There's the big bottom pedal kicking in. So now let's turn on this, and that has some awesome lights lining up on the the Joyo band controller. So let's dial out all these bottom tones, and when I say dial them out, I mean boom, just boom. Did that make enough of a difference? Yes. So now turn that off. So those high notes are very muffled and hard to decipher what is actually being played. So now we add the EQ back on. Huge difference, huge difference. Let's bring up the EQ thing again. See, it's not cheating because we've confirmed it with our ears. Now we can just check, now we can just like have some fun with the eyes because yeah, the ears have done their job. So we're not cheating. So EQ off again. Big mountain worth of bass there. EQ on. Still a lot of bass there, still a lot of bass, but it's definitely more cleaned up. All right, let me move that so I'm not distracted by it. And here's another interesting little thing, something to just take note of. So if I were to play something like this. And now I transpose it to being higher. It handles the higher register a lot more compared to the lower strings. I find that interesting anyway. Hopefully you do as well. So yeah, this pedal, I have a thought and I'm going to try it, but I know it's not going to work, but I'm still going to try it. I am going to, don't make a pop. Excellent. I am going to grab my 7-string because if it can't handle this low tones, it is absolutely not going to handle even lower tones. But I want to try it. So this is a test. It is very much likely not going to work. If that was in a band mix, the bass player would be like, "Where do I go? Where the hell do I go?" Almost sounds like a bass guitar simulator with this, or emulator. What if I turn off the EQ? All right, we're not really tone chasing now, we're just having fun, but screw it. Let's keep going. That's a whole lot of mud. So yeah. So even the EQ pedal makes a huge difference with the 7-string, even though it is far too muddy for my liking, and it will take a lot of EQing, post-EQing after I record it to try to clean it up if I was to use this setup as a recording. It's definitely still too muddy, So, back into fast forward mode while I put this guitar back. I could have so much more fun with this for all the wrong reasons. So I think I'll leave it there. Let's settle on this tone here. Maybe, should I go more? No more. No more. It's just got to stop. Sometimes there's a point we just got to say, enough is enough, and you need to move on with this project. And that's exactly what I want to do now. I'm putting my own foot down for myself to say, Lee, stop it. We need to move on. So I'm going to use the tone and the settings that I've got here. And I'm going to see what this inspires, what type of tone, what type of tune that I can put together to play and share with you all. And let's see how it does fit in with the mix, because who knows, it might sound really nice with the drums and the bass and might find a nice blend and groove within it all and sound really beautiful. Or it might be way, way too muddy and I might have a lot of struggles. So, I don't know. But that's what I love about these series. I'm as much in the unknown as what you are. So, I'm going to write a little tune, record it, share it with you all with my little Brady Bunch setup with all the different takes that I do, and then we'll have our final thoughts afterwards. So, I'll take about 10-15 minutes to put this together. For you, it will be about another 4 seconds. So I'll see you on the other side. Time for my final thoughts on the heavy metal Daphon. Really wish I knew how to pronounce this properly. Pedal. Lots to say about this. Firstly, it is a grinding muff box. Heavy, like this is actually physically heavy as well. This is very well put together and well made. So if you use this live, absolutely you could smash this around, and it's equivalent of, you know, me trying to push you over with a feather. It's just not gonna budge or get wrecked. So very well constructed and put together. The level was good. The tone was interesting. You kind of had to find that, like you do in nearly every pedal and distortion, come up. Find that nice little sweet spot, but I don't think there was really much of a sweet spot in there. It was just more of a case of not letting too much of the lows in, because as you may recall during the setup part of this equipment breakdown video, this had a lot of bottom end going through it. The actual distortion knob, I don't know. When I dialed it up high, it added more hiss than actual distortion. And normally you do get more hiss and a little bit of white noise when you do push the distortion or the gain up really high, or to the higher register, I should say. But this didn't really give me more distortion. It just kind of added more hiss. So I rolled it back and I still felt like I had the same amount of distortion while I played without the hiss. That was fine. But this pedal on its own, oh no. No. Just no. Just no. And then we had the colourful pedal coming in to save the day. Really rolling back, as you can see, and as you may have seen in the, hopefully the video turns out well enough where you can see how much of all the lows I try to take out from 1K down. Just try to eliminate them as much as possible. And it still snuck some in. I don't know how, but it still snuck some in. But definitely this, me boosting the living crap out of the mids and the top end and taking out as much lows as what I can, really did clear up a lot of it. And I really felt like I had a lot more clarity. Not wow clarity, not clarity which blew me away to go, here's a new holy grail, definitely not. But definitely enough clarity where I felt like I could work with. Because without this EQ pedal, this was just bottom end muff. Just way too muffled sound there to work with it. And it was very entertaining adding the 7-string. I'm sure no one watching this thought, I wonder what a 7-string would sound like, but I still did it. And it was still lots of fun, even though I just knew it wasn't going to work. It was still lots of fun. But yeah, adding this to it was definitely, and look, adding any EQ thing is going to enhance it and do really good anyway. This, or any type of 10 band EQ pedal is going to do amazing things for any distortion sound that you, absolutely. Even the, this is a 10 band EQ, but even like the 7 or even 5 band EQs are really good. Like Metallica are famous for their 5 band EQ, where they do the V shape with their sound. So even with that will make a huge difference, where with this, just with any distortion pedal, really just dealing with the one tone knob is very limiting. But yeah, the tone knob added a lot more boost to it in the signal, definitely while I was looking on the computer tracking it. But it didn't really, it wasn't a what's the right way to describe my thoughts, or this in particular thoughts, not my thoughts in general. It wasn't a savior, the tone knob. It didn't alter it that much where it made it from an absolute yay from an absolute nay. Not at all. But it definitely did add a lot to it, which is fine. It's a part of the characteristics. the tune that I decided to put down is it really inspired more black metal, which is always good. Always good. It's rare to come up with a guitar tone from a pedal and then someone think, oh, black metal with this. No, because the richer tones that you normally make, you normally think about more melodic death metal or other types of metal to play. So for this to bring out the black metal, I reckon that gives it the tick of approval to say this can heavy metal. So it's not false advertising. It took a little bit more work, but it wasn't false advertising. It did live up to its name of being able to play heavy metal, because black metal is absolutely heavy metal. So definitely didn't lie to us in that regards. And especially in the tail end of the black metal song too that I did, I wanted to drop down on those lower notes to really see how it would flow with the bass and the drums. And I found it very interesting because as I was kind of doodling around with it, as soon as I added drums to the mix, it really blended in naturally really nice with the drum cymbals, more so than anything else in the snare. So something I didn't predict that was going to happen, but I was absolutely pleasantly surprised when it did. And then adding in the bass guitar to it, I had to be a little bit more careful on what type of notes I was choosing for the bass, because I didn't want it to get, I felt like just following the guitars more strictly. What's the right terminology? Because there was a lot of bottom end coming through with the guitar anyway, they were crossing over too much. So I kind of try to move away a little bit with the different octaves and different ranges with the bass compared to the guitar to help create more of a dynamic with it. And I felt like that worked really, really well. And dropping in with that last section of it with the low notes, that little bit of a chug, really sat in nicely. And the way how the drums and bass worked with it, it didn't really feel like that the bottom end was overly muffled, as it did when we played it isolated by itself. So now I'm going to say this now because I just thought about it. In the editing, I will put down the isolated just the guitars by themselves so you can hear it directly afterwards. So now I've done that, now I can comment on that. So hearing it isolated, you could hear that a little bit more muffled compared to being in the full band. So in saying that though, I want to know what your thoughts are. How do you feel dialing in the tone? Do you think I was overreacting about the bottom end? I felt like there was a bucket load of bottom end added into this, but do you think differently, or do you agree with me? How do you feel when I added the 10 band EQ with it? Do you think that was premature, or do you think that was more necessary, or do you think they were both good, but just for different reasons? I definitely want to know your thoughts on all of it. How did you feel when it was in the full band mix? How did you feel? Well, definitely give us your thoughts on the 7-string. Did you think that maybe me joking around was premature and I should have invested a little bit more time into it because there was something more there, or not? Yeah, definitely keen to hear your thoughts on it. So please leave your comments below so we can continue this conversation on. And if you have any more ideas, maybe you might think this pedal might be better used towards an amp. So utilising the amp's distortion and using this more as an assisting boost rather than a foundation distortion. I'm definitely happy to do that if you're keen for something like that, or any other type of videos you'd like me to do involving this, or even do you think this is pretty fancy and want to see me utilise this more? I'm happy to do that. So yeah, definitely let us know in the comments below. So time for my usual sign off, which is whether this video is in the foreground or the background, I definitely appreciate your company. So thank you very much for being a part of this conversation and this little journey with the heavy metal pedal. If you know anyone who you think might enjoy this video or videos that I do, please let them know that I exist and share this video. Please leave a like and yeah, let me know any other thoughts that you have and any other ideas too that help this channel grow and become more than what it is. Definitely appreciate any input that you give. So until next time, please stay safe.